Hey guys, how is everyone doing? It's Malbec here bringing you a video about the new hero in the game. Yes, every month Fedor brings us a new hero, and this time for February it's Joan of Arc. I have to admit, she looks really good, not gonna lie. The appearance from her and also the background looks amazing. She has kind of an heir to Arthur appearance with those blue, white, and golden tones, not gonna lie. I don't know what you guys think, but she looks kind of similar there. But overall, she looks really pretty, I have to say, as I told you. What are we gonna do in this video? We'll just read her skills, see some of the talents, and maybe based on what we can understand from those skills, we can say with who to pair her with. I cannot do analysis or testing for obvious reasons. I don't have the hero unlocked. Nobody has her. You can unlock her through the start track tracing events, same as most of the other heroes, so this is a pretty good thing since most of us, for not saying everyone, will be able to unlock her. So let's start with the skills. The main one, the burst skill, plants a summoning banner on enemy position, dealing damage to up to 3 enemies within a circular area around the target. Damage factor up to 14,000. For each additional target hit, the damage dealt to each individual target is reduced by a 15%. So that's massive damage, not gonna lie guys. Up to 3 nearby friendly troops, including the own troop, will have their damage dealt increased by a 5% and their damage received reduced by another 5% for 3 seconds. So overall, an amazing skill. It's kind of similar to what Farhad offers us here. It's literally the same damage skill over here, which has the same mechanic of inflicting huge damage to the first objective and then reducing that damage a little bit, but still dealing damage to the other targets surrounding the main objective. So the good thing about this skill from Joan of Arc is that damage increase and damage reduction, which Farhad didn't offer us. I mean, Farhad offers us huge damage, 12,000, but also offered us the continuous damage. But even with the continuous damage, it's not even the damage Joan of Arc is offering us with her main skill here, which is 14,000. So just the damage is already better than Farhad. And on top of that, we got that damage increase and damage reduction, which is huge. It's a 5%, but it may not seem like it, but it's a lot, guys, and it's for 3 seconds. And this is not the best part, because once awakened, all of this is even boosted even more. We will see that in a bit. But yeah, overall, amazing first skill over there, guys. The next skill, when Joan is in the same troop as a male hero, we got something, kind of similar to what Freya offered us, with the difference of her countering the male hero formations. Well, here Joan of Arc is making us pair her with a male hero. She's inviting us to do that. The damage dealt by the male hero's burst is increased by a 35%. That's massive, guys, not gonna lie. That's incredibly high for an skill damage. It's really good, because let's say Asuka, for example, who has up to 15,000 damage factor. Let's add up that 35%. We are talking about 20,000, even more than 20,000 damage from that skill from Asuka. So that's a lot of damage over there. Really good. When receiving basic attacks on the third skill, there is a 25% chance to increase the attack by a 7% and the basic attack damage by another 5% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. That's interesting. I mean, it's a low chance for 5 seconds, but it's still interesting because it can be stacked up. So, it could be within those 5 seconds. If it triggers at least 2 times, we are talking about a 14% increase on the attack and the 10% increase on the damage of normal attacks for those 5 seconds. So it's not that bad. I don't really think you can get the most value of this unless you're really lucky with the chances, because it's really hard to stack it 5 times within those 5 seconds. I mean, you need to trigger this every second, and it's quite hard, I have to say. But at least a few good percentages you will definitely get from this. So it's a really interesting skill over here, and it's conditional to the pairings we will see later for the partners of her. this one and this one are really related to with who will pair her with. And then the fourth skill increases the own troops attack by up to a 30%, which is a lot, and the troop capacity by a 12%. That's something new. No other hero offers us besides this one, I believe. Elena offered us, I believe somewhere, yeah. Here, I believe it was. Yeah, here. It increases the soldier limit of your troop by 8%. So only Elena and Joan of Arc increases the capacity over here. So that's really good. I mean, it says troop capacity over there, but down there in the skill, it says increases soldier limit. So I was asking myself, hey, capacity here, it means for resource stealing, but then reading down there, it says soldier limit. So I'm guessing this is for the troop size of your march, basically. So let's say you got 350,000 troops. With that 12% extra, we are talking about ish 400k troops. So that's massive, guys. And that's not even counting the troop capacity boosters. Imagine with a booster, guys. This booster of 50% added to these 12% we saw here, we're talking about a 600k possibly troops limit on that march. That's a lot, especially for Wales. This will be huge, not gonna lie, when they try to solo rallies or even fight in the open field. And then the Awakening skill, which is amazing, I have to say, since it changes drastically the first one, not gonna lie. I mean, it increases the damage factor from 14 to 15, making her one of the only heroes with that high damage in the game. Only Asuka has 15,000, I believe, and then all of the others are below that. Of course, Ama, for example, deals 14,500, but you gotta add that chance of adding another 1,000 on top of that. But without a chance, we are talking about the only two heroes, Asuka and Sean, which deal the most damage in the game with a burst skill. So that's amazing. And then the damage dealt increased, which was by a 5%, and the same with the damage received reduced by a 5%. It's increased to a 10% now. It's doubled. And the time, it jumps from what it was 3 seconds to 4 seconds. It's an extra second. So this is huge already. And it's not even the vest. The vest comes at the very end over there. It also grants your own troop debuff immunity for 4 seconds. That's incredible, guys. So yes, it's amazing. All of her skills are really good. That debuff immunity is insane because it includes, for example, the debuff that Freya or Hel that can deal to us with that healing reduction. That healing reduction on the target is considered as a debuff. So you're technically immune to Freya and Hel the healing reduction debuff for those few seconds that were. So overall, amazing and very interesting skills, guys. All 4 of them, and that's worth to mention because usually the game doesn't bring us heroes which include all 4 completely useful skills. There is always that skill that everyone considers kind of a brick skill. I mean, I'm referring to those who, for example, increase or buff the damage to Black Force, which is completely useless in PvP, or those skills that increase the movement speed from your troop or reduce the opponent's movement speed, which isn't that important on a fight unless you're in a pursuit. Or for example, those heroes that bring us skills that are only useful when within a specific troop type, conditioning us to use that hero with that troop to have the highest potential from it, such as, I don't know, for example, Asuka right here. His 3rd skill buffs the cavalry troop attack and movement speed. So obviously you're getting the highest potential from Asuka when using him with cavalry. That doesn't mean you cannot use him with archers or turkers. You can, but obviously the highest potential comes with cavalry. The same with the talent tree. Joan of Arc here doesn't offer us any of that thing. You know, she offers us 4 completely versatile and really useful skills alongside an amazing talent tree that we'll see in a bit. So she's that hero that I would consider enters the big 3, I would say, alongside Frey and Ama. Frey, Ama, Joan of Arc are those 3 heroines that I would say are amazingly versatile to use with any troop type. We can also maybe include Arthur here. I know his 4th skill buffs the Berserkers specifically, but we have tested it a lot. Everyone saw his potential with archers and also with cavalry. I've seen seen players using Frey Arthur with cavalry, and they have amazing results as well. So yeah, I mean, Frey, Amma, and Arthur are three completely broken heroes, and guess what? They are all versatile. They can be used with any troop type. They are balanced here, such as Arthur or Amma. Freya is a beast rider, but when analyzing her talent tree, she can be used with any troop type. So Joan of Arc enters those, or that selected group. Now, in terms of talents, guys, she's offering us one of the most interesting and versatile talent trees in the entire game, I would dare to say, mainly because it comes with these three branches over here, and it's a composition of branches that I didn't find in any other hero. It's the only one with these three composition of branches right here, offering us a balanced branch, a versatile branch, and a skill branch, which is the most attractive. So this basically makes her an amazing option 100% to use her as a commander. I don't have her unlocked, so obviously I cannot show you the talent trees in detail and how I would build them, since I would love to, but what I can do is offer you some screenshots that I made myself with the compositions of talents that I would build. The interesting part about Joan of Arc is that you can adapt her based on your necessities. If you want to use her for garrison, if you want to use her to lay some siege on castles or a building, or if you just want to use her in the open field.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way.
And last but not least, as for who to pair her with, that's a big question, because as we saw in the skills and the talents, she's extremely versatile, so it would happen kind of the same as it happens with Frey, Amma, and Arthur. These three heroes right here are completely broken right now. They are the best we can get in the game, and they are really useful with any troop type and with any hero you pair them. So I'm betting the same will happen with Joan of Arc right here. So let's say you want to build something for Circus, which is a good starting point because all of these Circus are male heroes and technically can be paired with Joan of Arc. But there is a niche and there is just a few of them that I see really good potential with Joan. I mean, a lot of people or some are saying with Raid, and I don't think it would work that great because the second skill from Joan of Arc, for example, buffs the damage from the burst skill from the male troop, and the third skill increases the damage from those basic attacks, and guess what, that doesn't benefit at all on Raid. Raid main skill only heals and reduces the attack, so where is the damage here? Where is that 35 damage increase benefiting him? It's nowhere. The only good reason to use Raid with her is just if you want a tanky March with healing, which is the only thing she's lacking. I'm dead serious, if there's one thing she's missing is healing. But overall, I don't see her paired with Raid, as I told you. I do see her with Karl, for example. He does have a really good damage on that burst skill, 12,500, and he also has these the burn skill damage, which also inflicts more damage, and the shields he can offer, plus all the stats for the Berserker. So I do see her with Karl, for example, if you want something very offensive with her as a commander. You can go for something more defensive with Karl as a commander, but you would be losing on that skill tree that she's offering us. On the other hand, a really good option, I would say, for Berserkers is with Arthur, guys. This one, I'm really thrilled to see it tested in garrisons, to see if it works defensively, because Arthur has really good damage with that main skill, despite it not looking like it. He offers us 14,000 damage factor. That's huge. Added to the 35% we were talking before, it's almost 20,000 damage factor from this skill. So that's already huge. Plus all the shields Arthur offers us, which is amazing. The healing, as I told you, Joan of Arc is missing healing, so Arthur comes here to solve that issue right there. The third skill also increasing the defense from the commander and also ignoring the opponent's defense. And the fourth skill, which is good for Berserkers, as you can see over here. So overall, I see it as a really good pairing right here, especially if you got Arthur's runes on the artifacts, which can really have some synergy alongside the immunity to debuffs, as you can see over there on here. Now that's for Zergers. I mean, you got other options. You could pair with Bo, Balder, and others, but as you know, they are not really good heroes. They are just what I call transition heroes for the early game. Now, if you want to go with Cavalry, I see a little bit more potential over there. There's two obvious reasons for Cavs. One of them is Reinhardt, and the other one is Asuka. Here, I see huge potential, way more than with Reinhardt. So if you're a Cavalry main, I would definitely try this combo with Joan of Arc and Asuka. There's huge synergy between skills. I will explain why, but let's start with Reinhardt first. Reinhardt main skill deals a damage factor of 9,500, which if you ask me, it's not that great compared to all of the other damage dealers, which have damage between 12 and 14,000. But with the 35% damage increase that Joan of Arc offers us, this could go up to almost 13,000, which makes it more decent. You gotta add also all the good things Reinhardt comes with, mainly the buffs, which could be healing. As I told you, Joan of Arc lacks healing, so this could be useful for her. The rage build-up increase, which is worth to mention because it can be combined with this skill tree, and the activations from the burst skills will be happening way more often. And of course, the normal attacks ignore that is right over there, which is good to mention as well because Joan of Arc third skill buffs the basic attack damage. Also, if you got Reinhardt skin, which is the Lancelot, you can get this skill upgraded, which changes, if I'm not mistaken, it's every 3 normal attacks you're granted to get a critical hit on that normal attack. So that's even better to buff the normal attacks we were talking about just right now. And then you also got this movement speed and attack increase for the hero's troop. That's worth to mention as well because it's not specifically from Cavalry. This combo right here, Joan and Reinhardt, could be used with archers or Zergers even. But yeah, that for Reinhardt. Now with Asuka, which I told you I see it as the best partner from all the heroes, it has really good synergy because of all the great skills Asuka offers us. Starting with the damage, which is amazing. If you see here, it says damage factor 15,000, so that's way more than Reinhardt. And you gotta add the 35% that Joan of Arc buffs. Not all of the heroes in the game can reach such a high damage, but on top of that, you need to add, for example, the guard effect, which blocks an instance of damage exceeding 3% of the own max HP. So that means you would be blocking a critical hit or, for example, a very high damage skill hit. So that's also amazing. And not only that, on top of all that, it also blocks the healing. So it's kind of like having a Freya alongside Joan, with the benefit Asuka is a male, so you can deal more damage with that second skill from Joan of Arc. On top of all of that, you also have the damage increase that Asuka has with this passive skill. Alongside the extra guard effects, you also have heroes' cavalry troops attack being increased, so that's really amazing. That's why I say with cavalry mainly thanks to Asuka and the movement speed, and he also offers us what Joan of Arc is missing, which is the healing. So that's why I say a very really good complete combo over here with Joan of Arc and Asuka. I would love to test these, and if you're a Cav player and you get the chance to test these, please let me know in the comments if it worked for you. We'll be definitely testing these in the Veil of Spirits. Of course, there are other options still for Cavalry, but the issue is that they are females. Selena is a female and Erin is a female heroine, so you're not getting the highest potential from Joan of Arc's second skill over here. Now, if you want to go with archers, that's also interesting because most of the Axe-thrower heroes are female. Linda is a female, Roro and Kyra are female, and Helda is as well, so we will be having few options left for archers. One of them is Kalthus, and the other option is Farhad. For example, Joan plus Farhad, I seriously see potential here for archers. And I'm not joking, I know most of you don't like Farhad, but let me explain why I see potential here. First of all, Farhat isn't a hero that was dealing crazy damage, so keep in mind Joan of Arc buffs a lot the attack and the march the troop deals, so that benefits Farhat main skill over here, and consider Joan of Arc first skill also deals quite a decent damage, so overall in terms of damage this team should be dealing a decent amount. We would be increasing Farhat main skill damage and also the bleeding. Do not forget that the second skill from Joan of Arc increases the burst damage overall from the skill. It's not just the first instance, so we would be increasing the bleed effect over here, the damage from maybe 1500 to up to 2000, so that's also interesting. Plus all of the decent skills Farhat comes with. The second one, for example, do not forget it debuffs the enemy target's generation of the rage alongside the movement speed. Then his third skill, which is really good for archers, reduces the counterattack damage, so your troop won't be dying easily just by counterattack damage, and also increases the attack from ox throwers by almost 20%, so you gotta add that to this fourth increase of the attack, which reaches 30%, so combined we are talking about a 50% attack increase on the axe throwers with these two heroes. That's also interesting for archers. And then do not forget about Farhat's fourth skill, which ignores Target's shields and guard effects, making a good counter against Asuka formations and also against shield generators as it can be Arthur. So this could be a good combo, but I'm not saying this would be a direct counter to the meta options that we have, such as Frey Arthur or Raid Arthur. Mainly because I know Farhat can ignore the shields, but as everyone saw, it doesn't work amazing against Arthur. You know, he maybe trades 1-1 or 1-1.5, but he doesn't go crazy on the reports. That's my point. So why would it work with Joan of Arc, which doesn't offer us any healing reduction? For example, those two marches, Frey Arthur and Raid Arthur, have a really high healing, so this team would be really struggling against that, I would say. Of course, it wouldn't be a combo with crazy tanking capabilities. None of them heals, and we would only rely on the damage reduction Joan of Arc offers from this skill, which can go up to 10%, and the damage reduction from the counter attack that Farhat is offering over here. But yeah, that in one hand, and then we got Kalthus, which, do not forget, this is a free hero, but it's a very good hero. Many whales are still using Kalthus and Linda because they got huge attack, and the good thing about Kalthus is not only the main skill, which I know it's not that high damage, it's almost the same case as with Reinhardt, only 9000, but it can be extended with that 35% extra. But the good thing about Kalthus is that he deals crazy good damage with normal attacks, and Joan of Arc really buffs these with the third skill and also with the runes that I didn't mention in the entire video, but we'll do at the end because the runes are really good and they buff the normal attacks as well. We will have an eye on that. But yeah, with Kalthus I see huge potential due to that, and also because of the healing he offers us. Unlike Farhat, Kalthus does offer us healing plus a crazy good increase on the attack over here, up to 40%. So overall, pretty solid compositions we just saw, but most of them, if not all of them we just named, are with male heroes. So what about the females, since it doesn't mean Joan of Arc cannot be paired with females just because of these skills she has right here. Of course, the highest potential, you're getting it while paired with a male, but if you pair her with a female, this skill would become useless, but that doesn't mean the composition will be useless. I'm really thrilled to see if she works with Freya, for example, with Amma as well, with Helda, with Erin, even with Roro for archers as well. I mean, Freya is an amazing hero. Everyone loves her. She has really good damage reduction, reflection, pretty decent damage with that burst skill, and also the debuff that everyone loves, which is the healing reduction over here. So it would be a kind of a tanky march while it has a really decent damage, plus all of the increase she offers us. And chained to that, that's why I would love to see it tested alongside Helda, Amma, and Erin. These three heroines right here are probably the most or the highest damage dealers in the entire game. So all these attack and damage increase that Joan of Arc offers us wouldn't be bad paired alongside those heroines. So that's why I say it wouldn't be crazy to do that. And the same happens with Roro. I know she doesn't have crazy damage besides her main skill, but she does reduce the defense of the target by a 40%. So that, alongside all of the attack increase and damage, can again be really useful for archers. Do not forget that nowadays a lot of people are using the Frey Arthur combo, and they are all swapping to Arthur as a commander, mainly due to this equipment right here, which can buff the troop by quite a lot. So all the people that is using Arthur as a commander, they are not benefiting from Freya's second skill over here. So when they get attacked by a Freya, they are taking a 15% extra damage, while if you're using Freya as commander, you are defending from those enemy Freyas. But my point here is that they are using Freya with 3 skills, so why wouldn't Joan of Arc work with 3 skills as well? There are still a few other options around, such as Baldur, for example, which I did name for Berserkers, but this combo I see it only working mainly on the arena, for example, since Baldur benefits all the nearby allied troops. And do not forget, Joan of Arc burst skill also does the same with that damage increase and damage reduction that offers to the nearby allied troops. And then we got YSS, a combo that some people has been naming as well, and I mean, it's not bad, mainly because of the damage YSS deals with that burst skill, which is pretty high, and also that considering that he removes the target's shields and beneficial buff effects. But the issue with YSS, if you pair him with a Joan of Arc, is that you won't be benefiting from YSS third skill right here, since it says that it increases the damage from the troop by a 13% if the enemy troop size is bigger than the troop you're using YSS. And the issue with this is that, do not forget, Joan of Arc increases the soldier limit of your troops, so you're technically always having more troops than the opponent. You're starting the fight with more troops than the opponent. So that's why I say it could work, but not at the same time over here. Plus, this combo doesn't have any healing, so if you really want to use it to tank, you're not having that much tanky capabilities. I mean, you're having a very tank hero combined with a very damaged hero over here. It's not like Frey YSS, which is a way more tanky combo thanks to Freya capabilities. And then to finish the video, we got the runes, guys, which are 3 as usual in these heroes. One of them is in the offhand, which when Sean's troop size is less than 50%, the attack is increased up to 65%. So that's huge, especially for whales who have high survivability on their teams. I mean, if you're not a very strong player, once you reach 50% HP, especially if you're using archers, you're kind of cooked. But I do find this an interesting rune for using with cavalry and also with berserkers. I mean, if you're a whale, this one is really good with archers. Do not get me wrong with that. That attack increased by a 65% is massive, guys. Adding the fact that she also increases huge the attack and damage with her own skills. Then we got the Trinket over here, which also offers us a rune. This one increases the damage and also the damage reduction buffs granted by Sean's burst skill. And this is huge because it can go up to 3%, and that's damage, guys. Do not forget it. Damage is a lot, even if it's a 3%. We're jumping from the original 10% we had on the Awakened skill from up to a 13%. So that's really a lot, guys. And then we got the leggings over here, which also increase the damage dealt by the basic attacks by a little extra over there, 420 based on the defense factor. So really good runes over there. I would say the most interesting one is the offhand, mainly because we don't have Arthur or Freya runes over here, so we don't need to fight on which rune to pick to use. You can just put Joan of Arc's rune on the offhand and then accompany it with the defense and HP runes, or maybe some reduction on the damage over there, which is amazing as well. That depends up to you and your teams, obviously. Then the Trinket, there it has kind of an issue because here you got that Arthur rune, which is amazing. You also have the Aska rune, so you're really struggling here between picking the Arthur, Aska, the Joan of Arc rune, even all of the other heroes, which are pretty decent runes over there, alongside all of these right here, because the Trinket is that specific artifact that has everything on it. You know, you got the attack, you got the defense, you got HP, including from all soldiers as well, not only from the specific soldiers. You also got the normal attacks regeneration, you also got the soldier limit increase, so you got a lot of runes to pick here and to play with on the Trinket. And then the leggings one kind of happens the same as the trinket, but with the difference here, you can play a little more since you only got the HP runes as the very good ones and the damage reduction. So here you can go for that Sean of Arc rune and maybe even pair it with an Arthur rune on the same piece. So that would be it for the video, guys. I know it's a little long, but yeah, not gonna lie, Sean of Arc is one of those heroes that I would say it's worth to talk about quite a few minutes. It's not like Vol or Valor or Vista where you can maybe talk 5 to 10 minutes and you are bored. Here, we're talking about an incredibly versatile hero, as I said, through the entire video. I'm hoping to see her in action. I don't know if I will be able to test her. I will maximize her as soon as I can, but that's more a task for the whales on the very next days. So hopefully in the Veil of Spirits, as far as it has a good matchmaking and not like the previous one, which was rigged, we can see her in action and I can bring you some good reports and different compositions the guys can try on her. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was useful to give you kind of an idea of where to put Sean of Arc in the meta right now. And yeah, give me a thumbs up if you liked. Subscribe please, you will help me, you will give me a huge hand by doing that. And that being said, hope you have an amazing day and see you on the next time, guys. Bye bye.